Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the world of bars and barbells. I am Phil with my lovely co-host Samantha. We're coming to some Tom Segura for the first time on the channel.
Yeah, and I think we had a little glimpse of him in one of the compilations, right?
That is factual. I was fibbing in that
This is our first reaction to him specifically, but he popped up in one of the, I think it was the Joe Rogan funniest.
Try Not to Laugh.
Yeah.
From Joe Rogan, and he was featured on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Talking about a guy who makes gross noises.
Ass ripper is what she's referring to.
Yeah.
And the guy that farts, and Tom Segura was commenting on it.
Thinking it was the funniest thing ever. So I'm interested to see how this is, because that isn't really my style of comedy. So,
yeah.
You know?
Well, you were, I think, finding it funny. It was just a little gross at the same time. Anyways, gross. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. You can think for yourself. Yes. We got Completely Normal is the special, I believe, and the segment we're doing from it is Tom Segura loves watching the first 48. So You guys have been requesting Tom on the channel for a while now. We got lots of comedians. We got about 120 videos, I think, at this point up from comedy. So if you like that, it's your first time on the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and the like button if you enjoy it. And we'd love to have you, but enough with us. Let's get into some Tom. You ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's go.
God, it's so weird. People ask me, I get asked fucking travel advice from strangers. Can we just break down how crazy that is? People come up to me and they're like, hey, you travel a lot, right? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, where should I go? I don't fucking know you, man. You ask travel advice to people who know you intimately. They know you well. They can guide you based on what they know about you. I mean, you don't ask strangers dining advice, right? Because you're like, hey, where should I eat tonight? I know I've never met you before in my life, but do you think you could give me a recommendation? Yeah, you should try this dim sum place. But then that person might go, oh, I hate the Asian world. And you're like, oh shit, I didn't know that about you. Like, yeah, I killed 4 of them. What are you, a serial killer or something? Yeah. Now you're in an awkward conversation with a serial killer. Here's all I'm saying. I can't tell you where to go. I can tell you where not to go. Wherever they film the first 48 on A&E. Oh, if you're not familiar with the show, here's what it is. Camera crews follow real homicide detectives for the first 48 hours after a murder. And the reason that time distinction is so important is that after 48 hours, they give up on that murder. They're like, that's some old shit. What do you want to do today? You're like, how about you keep trying to solve that murder, man? That shit happened on Monday. It's Wednesday. We're not going to solve that shit. Really. There are so many amazing moments on that show. So many. A lot of the episodes take a similar path. I'm blown away, first of all, at how many times there's a witness to a murder. It's crazy. I always thought murders happen in dark alleys. Nobody saw shit. No.
True. Every
other episode, they're like, you see that shit? And the guy's like, I saw that shit. Yeah. Where? Right fucking here. Really? I was standing here, and then he killed that dude there.
Have you ever been witness to a murder, Sam?
I have, yes.
You have?
I have been in places where people were shot before, yes.
I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, are we going to have to delete this from the video? Would you like to elaborate a little bit more on what you were talking about? We got a confession on camera here.
A witness is, I didn't murder anybody, but I have just been in places before.
Go ahead. Sorry. I think I know what you're talking about. That's why.
Yeah, there's just been a couple of different situations. Once I was in a restaurant and a bunch of people came in with ski masks on and started shooting at people. So that was interesting. Another time I was at a nightclub, well, I guess a day club technically outside, and at a Drake party thing, and during the concert weekend, and somebody came in and shot somebody. And the third time was somebody on the street where I was on the same street. So
clearly Sam has experiences with viewing murder.
I mean, it wasn't like not like that, like right beside me, but close and too close for
in
comfort.
The vicinity, in the proximity of it,
yes.
and
like within eyesight. So,
and clearly not in a dark alley.
No, in
broad daylight.
In the open. Yes.
Yeah, I could say that I haven't experienced that, but would be probably pretty scary.
Yeah. Not fun for
Anyways,
sure.
let's go back to some comedy with Tom Segura. I didn't expect we were going to go down that path. I was saying, no, I haven't experienced any murder scenarios. But you learn something new every day, even when you've been in a relationship with somebody a very long time. But Tom clearly likes the first 48. What about you?
I've never seen it, but I'm kind of surprised because I love stuff
That's
like
why
that.
I was like, you must be all about this first 48.
Yeah, no. So like stuff like Law and Order and like I love
that's
that
why I was
stuff.
assuming you probably liked this show.
I didn't even know it existed.
I did find it funny when he mentioned like, they don't give a shit after the first 48 hours.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that. Like I know that they say that it's like
joking.
Oh, because I was going to say, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but because I know they say like the chances of the victim being found.
Yeah, I think that's probably the real reason why,
Yeah.
but it's a funny joke. I mean, it makes me think of like Hollywood celebrity murders like Tupac and Biggie that go unresolved forever.
Yes.
Like you don't get it, resolved in the first 48 hours and then it never gets resolved. So that's what it was making me think of when he was making the joke about it. But anyways, let's stop rambling. Let's get back into some Tom Segura and see where we go.
Murders happen in dark alleys. Nobody saw shit. No. Every other episode, they're like, you see that shit? And the guy's like, I saw that shit, yeah. Where? Right fucking here. Really? I was standing here, and then he killed that dude there. Like, what'd he look like? He was like 5'2" to 6'8", something like that. And they're like, that's the fucking description you're gonna give us? Uh-huh. Anything else about him? Yeah, he had ears too. Thanks, man. No problem. They still will sketch that shit out. I don't know. And they show it to people. Do you know this guy? And everyone's like, nah. But then one guy will be like, yeah! That's Cricket right there! You're like, oh shit. You know him? I've been knowing Cricket 27 years! What's his real name? Man, that's just Cricket. I don't even know. Stop being white and weird. That's a perfect fucking impression, and you know exactly who that was, okay? Yeah, it's a black guy, and he's wearing a wife beater, and he's got on a dirty hat, and he's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. And he looks like he's about 33, but you find out he's 76 years old. And he speaks super aggressively to the cops. I've been out here for a minute! And they're like, all right, Jesus Christ. When was the last time you saw him? He came through with jellyfish last week. They were looking for some smoke. And they're like, all right, Jesus Christ. They always cut to the whitest detective from that guy, too. They cut from that guy to the guy who's like, I don't think he's going to help us out. We're going to have to find Cricket on our own. That show has the best moment in television. It's the most dramatic thing you could ever see, because it's real life, and that is the interrogation. The interrogation is amazing, because here's the thing about drama. If you want to have a great, dramatic moment, raise the stakes. Guess what? There's no higher stakes than somebody being questioned about taking somebody else's life. It's inherently compelling television. It is also super serious. But the detectives insist on using the suspect's street name, so the whole thing turns into a fucking cartoon. Like, they're literally like, your life is on the line. We need to talk to you. Why don't you have a seat? Little stank, why don't you sit down for a second? Did you or did you not know Dookie shoes? I don't know no Dookie shoes. I got a picture of you hanging out with Dookie shoes. I mean, I seen them. I don't know. And then they'll throw one bit of evidence against the wall, hoping it'll solve the case. They'll be like, well, we were talking to Naamin, and he said that you were at the 7-Eleven last week. And he'll be like, yeah, I shot him in the face. And you're like, God damn, really? That's all it took to break you? Dude, lie. Lie for longer. You can kill somebody, you can't lie for 10 fucking minutes about it? Like, dudes will break on anything. They'll be like, we heard you had on a blue shirt last Friday. Yeah, I stabbed those 4 people. Dude, a lot of people have blue shirts, man. You can still get out of this.
This is an interesting point that he's making. Like, I wonder how much of it is dramatized from the, because we see reality TV, right? They dramatize it, and they make it seem like something's happening, but it's behind the scenes. That's not the way it actually played out, and they dramatize it to make it more entertaining. So I wonder if they do any of that from the standpoint of something like a cop show, 48 Hours, or even like Cops or whatever.
Well, I always wondered if those shows are actually like real, or if they just pretend like they're real and it's actually scripted.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you could like somebody that they've talked about on the show on 48 Hours, right? Their name. I don't know. I guess I would assume some of them you will know their full name. Yeah. And then you could just Google it and see what actually happened.
Stank?
That might be a little ambiguous.
Nah, I mean.
His impressions are fantastic, though. When he gets into the character moments, it's great how he just goes and transitions from his stand-up routine into the character and, using the voice and all that. That's great.
So good. But I also feel like he has a point when he says, like, there are a lot of people, not a lot of people out there, but like in these shows, when you watch these shows, there's these people that come up with these like, complex, like thought out, like, I'm going to go kill this person and do all these things. But then they get caught and they're like, yeah, I did it. And
that's what I mean.
Why would you do that?
That's what I mean. Either, like he was saying, these people are just out to lunch, which is a high probability if they're going out here killing people, but or they're just kind of leaving out parts of the story of how they concluded that to dramatize it and make it entertaining, or make somebody be like, what do you mean you just confessed over that, right? Like maybe they showed him something and be like, yeah, we actually have videotape of you murdering the guy, but leave that out. Like, fair. Weren't you wearing a blue shirt that day?
Yeah, fair. But I think also too, like the characters that he's highlighting here are kind of like supposed to be representative. These like kind of get like thug kind of guys.
Yeah, the G'd up life.
Exactly, right? And they're probably not the most well thought out like criminal masterminds. They're probably more of just like in the moment heated passion, like
emotional
you're on my turf,
or
and then
something like
when
that.
they get caught, it's more of an ego thing of like, yeah, I did it type thing. Right?
Yeah, maybe it's hard to
that's
piece
just my
it together,
guess.
but like a serial killer might be a little bit harder to
exactly. I don't think that they're gonna
the more meticulous crimes.
Yeah.
Lie for longer. You can kill somebody, you can't lie for 10 fucking minutes about it? Like, dudes will break on anything. They'll be like, we heard you had on a blue shirt last Friday. Yeah, I stabbed those 4 people. Dude, a lot of people have blue shirts, man. You can still get out of this. Here's what I've learned watching that show, okay? Lawyer up. You can't handle that shit. Everybody's like, I'm gonna talk to the cops and straighten this whole thing out. You're gonna do 25 to life. Have fun with that, man. Nobody asked for a lawyer. I've seen 300 people get interrogated on this show. 2 of them were like, can I talk to a lawyer? And both times the detectives were like, fuck! And then at the end of those episodes, it said on the screen, all charges against Tayshaun were dropped. Or Jim, pick a fucking name. Let's be honest, there's no Jims on the show. I've seen every episode, and none start with, hey, Bryce, can we talk to you for a second, man? Where were you last Friday? I was over at Tanner's house. Then Skylar had a party, so we went over there. And then we picked up Connor and we had pancakes. Sorry, bro. The detective, bro.
That was Tom Segura, completely normal, loves watching the 48 off, completely normal. What were your closing thoughts, Sam?
That I want to go watch the first 48 now.
Do you? How about any more Tom Segura?
No, I thought he was good. I loved his impressions. I thought that they were really funny and, pretty spot on for like that kind of dynamic of what he was talking about. I also think that he did a great job at taking, some people might kind of take offense to some of the things that he was saying in there, I feel like, but he did a good job at not letting that, like it not coming across that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's impossible to do comedy without annoying somebody at this point.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, no, I liked him though. What did you think?
Yeah, I'd like to see more from him for sure. I feel like he has a free-flowing conversationalist type of comedy, which I do enjoy from the comedic standpoint. You have your mix of sometimes it's punchlines and sometimes it's a skit and sometimes it's this where it's free-flowing and you just kind of go with the flow and the vibe, and I do like that, and I think he's probably got good material throughout a full special.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to see a bit more, and you guys can recommend more. It also reminded me of like I had gotten into some situational issues when I was younger, when I was like 18, 19 years old, and had some run-ins with the police, we'll say, as a lot of younger people do. And I remember I had to go in for questioning about something. And before I did, though, because he was talking about talk to a lawyer up, right? And before I went in, I called a lawyer and talked to them, and they said, like, all you need to do is go in there and say, I don't want to answer any questions. That's all you tell them the whole time. That's the only thing you say. And then the lawyer said back to me, he's like, so what are you going to say? And I was like, I don't want to answer any questions. And he's like, just say that every single time, because you don't want to implicate yourself, right?
Yeah.
And like, it was good that happened, because when I went in there to actually speak with the detectives or whoever, they did exactly what you see on TV and in the movies, where they do the good cop and the bad cop stuff, and like the guy comes in and be like, we know you were doing this, you did this and did this and blah blah blah. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, relax, right? And then he leaves, and the next guy comes in. It's like, hey buddy, how you doing? Do you want a coffee or anything like that, man? Like, I know this is all crazy, but we just got to get to the nitty gritty of it. Yeah, so just let us know about what you were doing, and even if you were there and you did this, don't worry about it. It won't result in anything bad from just making you feel comfortable after you had that introduction. And for both for me, for both people I was talking to, it was the same response. I was like, I don't want to answer any questions. And like the second guy that I was talking to, because he was going in there already good-natured, well, not really good-natured, but like, humorous kind of, he was just kind of laughing that I was continually saying this to every single question. Yeah. Almost being like, okay, like, I understand you've spoken to a lawyer at this point. Let's see if we can go anywhere with this, and like, try to poke fun at it a little bit. But it was just crazy how that was so relevant to what I had seen on TV at the time. And I was really young, like I said,
because you never
18,
know
19,
if it's like the same thing, right? Like if like what you see on TV is like what you actually expect.
Until you're in the hot seat, you don't really know what it's like.
And then you're like, oh, this is real life.
Yeah. So anyways, that was my experience, guys. If you want me to elaborate on that at some point, I will. But we'll leave it at that for now. I enjoyed it. Would like to see more. Tom, you would as well.
I would. I liked him. He was cool.
So that's 2 likes from us. Like button from you is needed as well. And hopefully we see you in our next video. Got 2 videos coming tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. See you then.